I'm a traveling spirit of sea.
We had a really peaceful Christmas at Renval. What a nice site. If you ignore all the statics when you drive onto the site, with the Axie card, it's about €20 a night. So we've now moved on to about halfway across Belgium at Grève. It's now the 27th of December and we are heading towards our New Year park up in Bruges. We've come about an hour in to the village of Grève. What 3 words on the screen? It's a park for nights park up, so a car park. It's really nice. You can hear the diesel heater ticking away in the background. It's about 4 degrees. Beautiful day and a very pretty view across the valley. Of course we have both Claude and Henri, so now I have 2 of them to behave themselves. This is a lovely community place. It's the car park for the salle de fête and for the school, so I imagine in school holiday time it could be a bit busy. But there's a barbecue place, picnic tables, really nice, and we'll carry on. So we are in Brussels and we are at Camper 13 motorhome stop, and it does what it says on the tin. €10 for the night. You have to book before you arrive and you get a code to let you in, and we're going to go and suss out Brussels and probably get lost on the trams. Here we are in Brussels, and of course the first thing that we have to do is to visit the vegan waffle shop. These vegan waffles are absolutely amazing. William had a chocolate, Darrelle had salted caramel, and I had something called Sirop de Liège, which is a pear, apple and date syrup. They were delicious. I have to say it's very impressive, but this is really my idea of hell. Of course, a visit to Brussels wouldn't be a visit to Brussels without an inappropriate fountain and a mountain of people, all taking pictures of said inappropriate fountain. Of course, the problem with being an inappropriate fountain tourist is that everybody else seems to be an inappropriate fountain tourist. And there we are. Hiding is the... I don't know what you call it. Woman having a pee. But more interestingly, all of the people taking pictures of said person having a wee. I think is in our inappropriate statues. Zeneca, the weeing dog. There you are. All the things you come to Brussels to see.
This is the Black Tower. It was built in the 13th century as part of the original fortifications for Brussels, but became obsolete by the 15th century when new fortifications were built. It has survived and is now surrounded by quite ugly modern building, which is a hotel.
So we've been standing in a queue now for 10 minutes outside the rooftop entree to the rooftop bar and terrace here in Brussels. It's Monday the 29th of December. It's around about 10 o'clock in the morning and we're here at our park-up in Brussels. It was reasonably quiet last night once everybody seemed to settle down around about 11 o'clock. Much starting of engines and moving things around. Amazing how many people arrive at a park-up after 10 o'clock in the evening. This was absolutely full last night, but fairly quiet. This morning haven't heard many people moving, although quite a number of vans have gone. And we're going to walk to the bakery. Campsite's situated in an urban area called Anderlecht. We are actually just coming down to the Place Bizet, which is where we will find a bakery, not a herring. A herring! This is Bizet, this is where you get the town buses and also access down to the metro. Well, there we are. Du baguette. Rather strangely cut in half. Apparently it was something I asked for. That was, what were they? €2.60. Oh, there we are. Baguettes in hand. Back to the van for breakfast.
Good morning from the car wash. Claude really needed a wash. Poor thing. He was a very dirty boy.
When I wake up early in the morning, and when I come home at night, everything is covered in darkness.
That's better. He's a clean boy now. We are in the Belgian town of, excuse my pronunciation, I think it's Nivelle. It's about halfway between Brussels and Bruges, and we've got a couple of days to get to Bruges, so we just stopped off here. It's at the sports hall. It's free. There are, in theory, services. However, the services are not working currently, apart from the disposal, which is because all the water's turned off and the electric's turned off. In the meantime, some little additions to Claude. Claude now has two 3D printed cup holders, because the cup holders in Claude that come as standard are a bit rubbish. You can't fit a bottle into the cup holders, so that's just not really very useful at all. So we now have new cup holders. We saw the idea on True Blue Travels, which is one of our favourite YouTubers, and they 3D printed some for one of their vans, and we thought, well, that's a really good idea, so there we are, and Will printed those for us. He's tech support, and now they're fitted. Fantastic. We had a lovely walk around the pretty town of Novelli. There's a 10th century, or there was a 10th century castle, a little bit of it still remains, and a church that was destroyed in both World Wars and rebuilt in the 1940s. Unfortunately, it was largely closed probably because of the time of year. I've been let out on my own, going for a little walk, hopefully a little walk. William's found it. He's a little notorious for finding me very long walks. We shall see. We start off on a very busy road. The whole walk is about 6 kilometres, which is a bit further than we really want to walk. So we're going to do a bit and then probably turn round and do another different loop. At the moment it's all quite urban, so let's see what happens. We have found the river, the Old Lay. Sorry, I don't know how to say that. It's quite pretty. There's a lock there and lots of boats and lots of cyclists. The sign back there said River Ranch, and I can definitely, if you had smelly vision, you would also be able to smell horses. Can't see any. Very pretty Art Deco building. I'm assuming it's a house. So that was a 6k walk, very nice walk along a river, by some very pretty houses. It was a nice walk. It took us an hour and 40 minutes, and we know this because the app we use tells us. It's an app called All Trails. We'll put a link in the description and a map that will show you where we walked.
And we've arrived at our New Year Camping Memling, which is just outside Bruges. Apparently you take the number 50 bus and it's about a 20-minute run into Bruges. Fairly typical of a city-style campsite. Works out, I think it was €58 for 2 nights. And there is Claude. All the usual facilities you would expect. Toilet, showers, emptying, this, that and the other. And it's a nice looking site on the edge of a forest. Well, we are here again in what's possibly our favourite city, Bruges. And we're heading towards what's possibly our favourite place.
Otto Atelier gluten-free waffles.
It is December the 31st, New Year's Eve. And the first thing that we're going to do is have gluten-free and dairy-free waffle.
So exciting. The Basilica of the Holy Blood was built between 1134 and 1149. Only the lower chapel, which is dedicated to St Basil the Great, was open. The relic of the Holy Blood is kept in the newer 16th century upper chapel.
Darrelle through interpretive dance.
I'm trying to make it look really eerie. Not laugh.
Sensation Wild Anthem. Mannen met de vuilnis. Los met de stofwolkjes. Van Brugge feest. We gaan eraan beginnen, zing maar mee. Hè. Kom aan.
The 2nd of January. Had a bit of a lazy start to 2026. We spent the day yesterday on the campsite in Bruges, and today we've moved campsites. We're in the Beerweg Air, just outside the centre of Bruges, and our ferry isn't until Monday. So we're very slowly edging our way towards Dunkirk. And now it appears to be time for a waffle. Because when you're in Bruges, what do you do? Well, here we are again. Waffle time. Looks pretty similar to last time.
Except the queue's longer.
So we are now going to visit Ypres, and we've parked up in a free park up just outside the city centre. You can park here overnight. It's on Search for Sites and Park for Night. We've decided not to do that because we're only 29 minutes from a camper air in Vern, so we're going to go there as recommended by our friends Eurosully. For now, we're going to go into the town and visit Ypres. We're going to go to the In Flanders Fields Museum and hopefully find some chips, frites. Well, it's been about 25 years since we were last here in Ypres, and the reason that we're going to the museum is because we do have memories of it being absolutely amazing and very thought-provoking. It's the sort of place that every politician needs to visit to remember.
There's no doubt that this is where the command post was situated, where my grandfather disappeared. On 22nd of April, around 5:30 in the afternoon, I was at my command post at a farm north of Beauzigny, writing the last orders for the relief of the guard, scheduled to take place that evening. When all of a sudden, my adjutant captain bursts into the office and says, "Colonel, something strange and inexplicable is going on. A greenish yellow cloud hangs over the canal trenches. At that precise moment, a radio operator walks in to tell me that Post 7 is desperately trying to reach me. It's Commander Lamour. In breathless, clipped sentences, he informs me that his companies are being decimated by poison gas. I give him the first answer that comes to mind. Hold out for as long as possible, then retake the lost ground with the reinforcements I'll send you. I haven't even finished my sentence when a panicked and deathly afraid voice on the other end of the line says, "The gas is entering my post. I'm suffocating," followed by a few words I don't understand and a convulsive hiccup sound. Then, nothing.
The In Flanders Field Museum is really interesting. I think we've been in there for quite some time. It certainly felt like it. Just walking around, reading things, listening to things, watching things. So much information from all aspects of your interest, whether it's the interest in what happened to the people who lived in the town or the military history, whatever bit really interests you, there's something in there for you. We were starving after we came out of the museum. 4 hours we were in there. So we piled into the friteur, Katterwald friteur, and got food and basically started to eat it really quickly. What have you got?
Burger.
And I got the gluten-free frikandel and chips. Yum, yum, in my opinion.
Very nice. I find it hard to believe that tonight is our last night. So we've been travelling since the beginning of September. We're now on the 4th of January and our ferry is tomorrow in the morning at 10 a.m. from Dunkirk. We're about 40 minutes away, so we stayed here on a camper air at Vern. We've just been into Ostend to do some shopping, and just going to sort the vans out so that we're not having to mess around in the morning at 6 o'clock in the dark. Our plan as it stands at the moment is that we're going to drive very slowly up through Kent, possibly stop in Canterbury, and then gently dribble our way home with the intention of being home by the end of the week, around about the 9th. We will see what happens. It all depends on what the weather's doing when we get across the water.
When I wake up early in the morning, and when I come home at night, everything is covered in darkness, and the sun is out of sight. I guess I'm living in the dark age, yeah, because I sure can't see no light. Ever since you left, there's been nothing but a cloudy sky, and there's no day, there's only night.
Good morning to you. We are in
Canterbury.
at the Park and Ride. It appears to be £4 a night, and you get free bus travel into Canterbury.
I'm just going to correct you. It's £4 a day. So if you stay overnight, that's 2 days. So it's £8 overnight. Yeah, that was all.
So Canterbury Park and Ride, we came into Dover yesterday and it was about a 25-minute drive up the road. Despite the fact that both Google Maps and Waves said that there were tolls, and there weren't any tolls. There might have been trolls.
A bit strange.
Very odd. So the park up here, there's loads of spaces. This was full last night. A really good transit point for Dover, which we hadn't realised. So we will definitely be using this again. Went down to -5 at about 4 o'clock this morning. It was -2 in the van.
It was cold.
Definitely chattery teeth. Right, we're going to go into Canterbury. See you later.
Here is a statue of Geoffrey Chaucer, famous of the Canterbury Tales. Who else studied the Canterbury Tales at school?
I didn't. I wasn't clever enough. You could only study the Canterbury Tales if you were clever.
I think it was A-level English literature. We've just had breakfast at Kitch. A lot of their menu is gluten-free and dairy-free and vegan. Really delicious breakfast.
I found it on findmeglutenfree.com and it was a true revelation. Very, very nice.
Nice to have choices.
Well done, Kitch. So here we have Canterbury Cathedral, said to be the first cathedral in England, built in 597. We're not going to go in today. It's £18 each, which I think is a bit much, despite it being an important place of pilgrimage for Christians.
After the Romans left in 510, Britain was invaded by the Anglo-Saxons and Jutes, and we've already talked about them as we followed round through Saxony and Jutland. The first Jutish kingdom of Kent was founded by the brothers Hengist and Horsa in 455. Around 580, Prince Ethelbert, a descendant of Hengist, married Bertha, a princess born in Paris to King Charlebert. She was the great-granddaughter of Clovis, the founder of the Frankish monarchy, and a Christian convert. And that's why she had St. Martin's Church built. And that's why, when St. Augustine arrived in England, he had a base to work from and to build the first cathedral in Canterbury. This is St. Martin's Church. It was already here when St. Augustine arrived in England in 597, and is the oldest church in the English-speaking world. It's supposedly on the site of a Roman church. Unfortunately, it's run by volunteers and it's only open a few days a week, one of which is not a Tuesday. It's a shame it's not open because we're told it's absolutely incredible inside. It is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site, along with Canterbury Cathedral.
Well, I have to say that Canterbury is a really interesting place. Maybe not as medieval as we thought it might be, but then I think possibly we've been kind of spoilt.
And we have to remember it was destroyed during the war, so...
But certainly interesting. Definitely worth a visit. It's just a shame, English heritage, that St Augustine's Abbey is closed for the whole of January. So many places that we wish to visit. So many places that have cultural relevance. English heritage closed. We did very well with our English heritage membership when we were in Orkney, and they were partnered, or they are partnered, with Historic Scotland. But everywhere that we try and go here is either open on a Friday and a Saturday, or not for months at a time, or due to reopen one day. It's really quite strange. But St Augustine's Abbey looks really interesting.
You might have spotted the snow as we walked around Canterbury, and the weather forecast was for very much more of the same. In fact, they were telling us of an apocalyptic amount of snow. We therefore decided to head straight home, and that is how our first big trip ended. So, thanks for watching, and join us next time for a roundup of the trip, which will include our costs and the highlights and lowlights of the trip.
They treat me like a son anywhere I go, and even though no one can tell, I still feel that